I never expected a simple knock on a neighbor's door to change the direction of my life. I was standing there with a small toolbox in my hand, already tired, already thinking about heading home, when she opened the door just enough to look at me. Her eyes were cautious, tired, and somehow warm at the same time. "Thanks for coming," she said softly. "The door doesn't close properly." That door. I had no idea what it would open inside me. I'm not a hero. I'm not some perfect guy. I'm just a regular man who fixes things when people ask, mostly because it keeps my hands busy and my mind quiet. I live alone. No wife, no kids, a few regrets that show up late at night when the room is too silent. She lived 2 houses down from me. I'd seen her before, always polite, always in a hurry, sometimes with a little girl holding her hand, sometimes alone, carrying groceries that looked heavier than they should. Her name was Sarah. She stepped aside and let me in. The house smelled like coffee and something sweet, cookies maybe, or just the kind of warmth homes have when someone actually lives in them, not just sleeps there. Her daughter peeked at me from behind the couch, big eyes, curious, guarded. "That's Lily," Sarah said. "She's shy." I smiled and waved. Lily didn't wave back, but she didn't hide either. That felt like a win. I knelt by the door and started working. The hinge was loose, easy fix. My hands moved automatically, but my mind kept drifting to the quiet hum of the house, to the way Sarah stood nearby, arms crossed, like she wasn't sure whether to stay or give me space. "You do this a lot?" she asked. "Fix doors?" I smiled. "Yeah, fixing things in general. It's simpler than people." She laughed, not loud, not forced, real. "I get that," she said. "Things don't argue back." That sentence stayed with me longer than it should have. As I worked, she brought me a glass of water. Our fingers brushed for half a second when I took it. Nothing dramatic, but my chest tightened anyway. I told myself to focus, finish the job, say goodbye, go home. But life rarely listens. When I tightened the last screw, I stood up and tested the door. It closed smoothly, solid, safe. "There," I said. "Should be good now." She smiled, relief softening her face. "Thank you, really. It means a lot." Lily had moved closer now, sitting on the floor with her toys, watching me like she was trying to figure me out. "How much do I owe you?" Sarah asked. "Nothing," I said, without thinking. It was a quick fix. She hesitated. "At least let me make you coffee." I almost said no. Almost. But something in her voice stopped me. So I stayed. We sat at the small kitchen table. Lily climbed onto a chair between us, swinging her legs. Sarah poured coffee, added too much sugar, then apologized for it, then smiled when I said I liked it that way. We talked about small things, weather, work, the neighborhood. She worked from home, freelance stuff, long hours, no real schedule. "And Lily's dad?" I asked before I could stop myself. Her smile faded just a little. "He left years ago, decided fatherhood wasn't for him." I nodded. No follow-up questions. Some stories don't need details. Silence settled, but it wasn't uncomfortable, just honest. After that day, it started with little things. A wave when we passed each other outside, a quick chat near the mailbox, Lily saying my name like she was testing how it felt in her mouth. Sometimes Sarah asked me to look at something, a leaky faucet, a loose cabinet, once just to check a strange noise. I never minded. Over time, I noticed the cracks she tried to hide, the way she checked her phone too often, the way her shoulders slumped when Lily wasn't looking, the way she apologized for things that didn't need apologies. I saw myself in that. We weren't perfect. We were just trying. One evening, I was fixing her back door. The sun was low. Light spilled into the kitchen in that soft, golden way that makes everything feel temporary and important at the same time. Lily was coloring at the table. Sarah stood near the counter watching me. "You don't have to keep helping," she said quietly. "I don't want you to feel obligated." "I don't," I replied. "I want to." She looked at me then, really looked at me. Her voice dropped. "Why?" I hesitated. The truth sat heavy on my tongue. "Because it feels good to be here. Because I like you and Lily." Her breath caught. I went back to the door, suddenly very focused on the screws, my heart pounding louder than the drill could ever. That's when it happened. She took a step closer, then another. I felt her presence before I heard her. "Can I ask you something?" she asked. "Sure." There was a pause, long enough to make me nervous. Then she said it. "Would you ever date a single mom?" The room felt smaller, the air heavier. I turned slowly. She wasn't smiling. She wasn't joking. Her eyes were searching my face, like she was bracing for impact. My first instinct was fear, not of her, of myself, of getting attached, of getting it wrong, of hurting a child who didn't deserve it. I thought about my quiet apartment, my routines, my carefully built walls. I also thought about Lily's laugh, Sarah's tired smiles, the warmth of this house. "Yes," I said. It came out steadier than I felt. "I would." Her shoulders sagged, like she'd been holding that question inside for months. "I needed to hear that," she whispered. Nothing happened after that. No kiss, no dramatic moment, just understanding. But that night when I went home, sleep didn't come easy, because I realized something. I wasn't just fixing doors anymore. I was standing in front of one. The days that followed were messy. We didn't suddenly become a couple. Life doesn't work like that. There were awkward moments, long pauses, times when she pulled back, afraid, and times when I did. I worried about the age gap, about what people would say, about whether I was enough. She worried about Lily, about repeating the past, about trusting again. One night, Sarah called me, late. "Can you come over?" she asked. Lily had a nightmare. I didn't hesitate. When I arrived, Lily was curled up on the couch, eyes red, clutching her stuffed rabbit. Sarah looked exhausted. I sat on the floor and told Lily a silly story about a brave rabbit who fixed broken doors. She smiled, then laughed, then fell asleep. Sarah watched me like she was seeing a future she'd been afraid to imagine. After Lily was asleep, we stood in the kitchen. "I'm scared," she admitted. "I don't know how to do this." "Me neither," I said. "But maybe we don't have to know. Maybe we just try." She nodded. Tears welled up, but she didn't let them fall. Weeks turned into months. We moved slowly, carefully. A walk here, dinner there, Lily always first. I learned how to braid hair, how to pack lunches, how to listen more than I spoke. I also learned my limits, my fears, my capacity to love more than I thought possible. Then came the hardest moment. One evening, Sarah told me she'd been offered a job in another city, better pay, more stability. "I can't ask you to come, and I can't stay just because of you." I felt like the floor disappeared beneath my feet. "I know," I said. "You have to do what's best for Lily." We didn't talk for days after that. When she finally called me over, her eyes were red. "I turned it down," she said. I stared at her. "Why?" "Because home isn't just money, it's people, and I don't want to teach my daughter to run from love." I stepped closer. My voice shook. "And what about me?" She reached for my hand, the same hand that had fixed her door months ago. "I'm here," she said. "I've been here." We didn't rush into a perfect ending. Life stayed complicated. Some days were hard. Some nights were quiet. But every time that door closed smoothly behind me,
Every time Lily ran to hug me, every time Sarah leaned her head on my shoulder like she finally felt safe, I knew fixing that door was never the point. Opening my heart was. If you liked this video, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. Thanks.